So the platform for the bug bounty, so is like exposing us also to another source of income in the field, in the career. So HackerOne is one of the platforms where companies enlist their products, their servers, their stuffs that they want to people to test for them. So they want hackers to hack through it, test it, report the vulnerabilities, and for every successful um, test or hacking you do on the site, following the rules of the platform, you will get paid. For example, currently now, this company Bike here is here, and they pay up to 7,000 bounties. They can pay up to 7,000 in bounty. So they've listed out the stuff that they want people to test. Kayak bug bounty program. They're paying from 100 to 3K, 50 to 5K, up to 8K. At the time I saw Apple's own, Apple theirs was up to 30K. So it's okay. Say this one is up to 30K. One password enterprise from $50 to 30K, depending on the severity of what you found. So this one. So you see that even without getting a full-time job in the field, the industry, if you see this one pays up to 100K, can you imagine? From 2000 and above. And I think this is the kind of one I want to even do so that if if I get one bug, one at least the lowest that they are paying at is 2K. Come on, guy. With 2K, won't you be happy? At least you won't be crying for your data. But the room is there to expand. They pay up to 100K. You see different companies. So this is what I am trying to prepare you guys for. By the end of the program, you decide, do I want to be in the SOC? If you want to be in the SOC, then you look out for advanced SOC programs, which we could also uh, give you a link to. You go to SOC, and by that time, what you are now doing is on the job training. Don't go doing back theories and classes. What you're going to be doing is on the job training. That's the link that I have. Do you know what on the job training is? Could you explain if you understand what it means?
I think
I think
continuous
not
training
training
to
to
up
up
knowledge
knowledge
on
on
the
the
field,
field,
at least
at
taking new
least taking new
courses.
courses.
Okay, it's not really what I meant. On the job training is what the bank, almost what the bank does. When they bring you in, they train you while you're in the job, while you're doing the job. So, but this time around, when you register for on the job training, it means you will be working in the company, doing the thing, and by doing it, you're learning. So, they are training you how to do the deed, the physical stuff, what you're expected to do when you get into when you are enrolled in a proper company. So, let's say um, the bank, for example, enrolls you. You register for an on-the-job training in the bank. So the bank takes you to field. They teach you how to market, teach you how to be a teller guy, teach you how to be an accountant person, teach you how to. So those are on-the-job training. There's not too much grammar. Go and take this course. Go and take you be in the classroom learning. No, this is you're in the field. You're doing what you're supposed to do to be paid. So that's what an on-the-job training is. I don't know whether you guys understand.
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
So now there are three things I've already mentioned. You see why I said no two classes are the same, even though we want to teach or talk about the same curriculum, but no two classes are the same because thoughts will not always come as the same. We are human beings. So the first option that is available You could decide to follow the SOC way, Security Operations Center, whereby you go through an OJT on the job training. You can even uh, start low budget through the platforms that we are graduating you guys into. Platforms like Try Hack Me. We have Hack the Boss, Hack the Boss. We also have paid ones. But if you want direct on the job training, we refer each one teach one. Each one teach one dot I think dot US or dot tech. I think it's dot US. So option two is the red way, the red thing where you could do bug bounty hunting, bug bounty, just like the platform I showed you now. Hacker One, that's the platform that I just showed you guys. Hacker1.com. So here you do remote stuff, remote bug bounties, bug hunting. Then three is um, most times getting a job from this OJT is easier because the referrals come quicker. Or number three, you start application for and what's it called? How do they call these guys that are entry roles? Start entry roles application or what's it called? Internship. Maybe what's that stuff? There's internship, internship roles, and all these too. While you were doing these things, you don't stop learning. You don't stop learning. So we are about to do SQL injection, SQLI injection, which hammers or revolves around brute forcing. And the idea is pointing somehow also to bug bounty because by the time we crack through the website and do the stuff, the database and do what we're doing, it is still that type of mindset that you will use when doing a bug bounty program. So we've by doing this, we must have satisfied a bit of number two. Then, if you want to go through the SOC, we already did SOC theory. So from here, you can say, okay, let me move down to this place. Then you want to go for the internship roles. Of course, you have your ISC2, which I admonished everyone to sit and take, which will give you your first license certificate, your first, which is ISC2 CC, certified in cybersecurity. With this, you're good for internship roles to start job. So you find out that you have three channels which you would want to choose from by the end of the program. Any question?
No
No
question, but I
question,
just
but I
need
just need
clarity
clarity on
on the
on
two.
the two.
Okay.
Is that the one
Is
that
that the
has
one
to
that
do with
has to do with
penetration testing?
penetration test?
Yes, it has to do with that. Penetration testing, brute forcing, hacking, and you are not just
So
doing
for
this.
So
No,
for some that
for
want
some that want
to do
to do
probably
probably
ethical
ethical
hacking,
hacking,
exactly.
I
That's it
think
now.
that
I think that
That's the line
That's the
you'll be
line you'll be
tempted to.
tempted. Even someone that wants to do black hatting, we are not telling people to go the black way, but whatever it is, so far as you want to do the hacking stuff, so you could push towards that place. And while doing it, you get yourself real paid. And it pays good more to be in the good side. Let's say, for example, you're doing, let's say the entry role salary of a SOC analyst, let's say, is from 40 to 80K a year. And while you are equipping yourself, you are lucky to get one. Now, you are under 80K. Let's even say you started with 40K. So, um, how much is 40K in naira? Please run the digits quickly. Do it by 1,005. How much is that? Hello? I'm waiting. So 40K by 1,005 is that much?
It's 60,000
Check it again.
times 1
Times
5,
1,5,
60,000.
60,000. Check it again. 40,000. 40,000. I didn't mean 40.
Okay, you mean
Okay, you mean
40,000.
40,000.
Okay,
Yes.
that's
Okay, that's
600.
600. That should be 60
That's
million.
60.
That's 60.
Yeah, 60
Yeah,
million.
60 million. So you're looking at 60 million entry level salary in a year, 60M per year. So when you divide it by 12, you should be
By
looking
12.
at divided by
5
12
million.
5 million. So uh, this person, an entry level worker here, staff here, is going by 5 million every month, which by the state of the country and most the developed countries, someone who is doing 5 million every month is more than comfortable. True or false?
That's true.
That's true. Good. So now we are not even talking about the
Even someone
80K. Someone
abroad,
abroad.
even someone
Even
abroad
someone abroad
can't even
can't
see
even
5
see
million
5 million.
after
After
all bills
all
being paid. Most
so
of them
most
can't
of them
see
can't
5
say
million.
yeah, I didn't want to go that place. So this is just 40. This is just 40. We're not even talking about the 8. Now you are doing the ethical way. You're working legit. Someone who decides to play black, who decides to steal, he runs off and probably in how many months steals $5,000. Hey, the guy don't peak. The guy peak. You are actually the person took $5,000 and that is 5,000 times 1.5. So that's 7.5 million. So this guy steals 7.5 million and is on the run. He's hiding. Police, EFCC, the person he duped, is on the run. Meanwhile, I don't think he knows that he left so much in the table. You would have comfortably been earning 5 million every month, but you stole 7.5 and ran away. Why? Where is the wiseness in it? I don't know whether you guys get the scope.
Yes, I
Yes,
do.
I do. So,
Well,
okay, go ahead. You want to say something?
but I don't.
But I don't.
I think the
I
person
think the
that is
person that is
actually aiming
actually
for
aiming for
7.5 million
7.5 million
is
is
still an
still an
item
item
when it comes
when it comes
to
to their ways.
Exactly.
Okay. So if someone earns the 80K, let's even say they are big boss, of course, there's no how you will take, you will loot or defraud from 10,000K and above that your name will not be on the red list. The disadvantages of that too is there. You will defraud from 10K and above. Definitely, you'll be on the red list. You'll be on the lookout because you'll be searched for. 10K is not 10 naira. Yes, the white man can push it out, but if he works for it or wherever it is coming from. So even at that, it is your own 1 year convenient, comfortable salary. Meanwhile, this person takes it and squanders it. That's another thing. You do not squander yours because you worked for it and you put it into good use. So the person on the left much likely squanders it because he feels like he can always steal another one. So the life cycle of this person here is not to be compared with this person here. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to be an evangelist for the good. I'm preaching for the good with good points. So if the person on the black says, hey, he pays to the black, it could make so and so money, so and so money, at what expense do you make it at? And how much does it sustain you? So that is by the way. So we were just talking about the paths to push through to. If an intern in the
But
good side,
at times,
yes,
the goal might not even be
the
because of
money,
the monetary value
yeah,
you get.
personal,
I know someone that actually hacked what's it called, Microsoft, and got a job.
from there.
He was he was able to hack their system, and he communicated it to them.
That
And at the end
is
of the day, they
that is
invited
here.
him for a proper
That is
interview,
here.
and
You
they
see,
gave him an offer.
that is what happens here, and that is why they made provisions for these platforms. But they will not tell you that is what happened here. So what happens is that when people break through here, they'll go online and it's a thing of joy, man. If I'm able to crack through any system, I'm gonna blow. I cracked through Microsoft system, and they paid me so amount. But people don't go to the detail to ask how, why, what way, and I'm telling you how it is done now. So you see this company, for example, Wickware, and you cracked their system. Probably they paid you, they invited you because most times when they before they pay, they will go through some emails. The last one I submitted, I when you crack through, you write a report on what you cracked through. Then you submit. The engineers will check whether it aligns with what they left to be tested with. So it is on rare cases where someone from nowhere, out of fun, out of just because you want to do it, you put up investments just to crack a system. After cracking it, you're not looking out for anything. Then the company now calls you. Yeah. How many times does those kind of things happen in a year? So, but what way I'm trying to open you guys to is what is more conventional, what is much more appreciable when you do that. Yeah, if you have the skills to crack, what's it called, our systems, come on, do it. Help us play the activists, and your reward will be big in heaven.
But
Me,
they said in the dark web that most of all these financial institutions
yes,
that they have their login details and stuff. I don't know how true it is.
and sell. So what happens is that when people sell or break through systems, they go to sell them. It's still money you're looking for. They sell it in the dark web. It's still money you're looking for. So they sell it to the highest bidder. You understand how what this is happening? When they break through, when someone finds your username and your password, it goes to the dark web to sell it. He's selling it for the highest bidder. why not Kukuma do the real stuff and enjoy the benefits? So there is other some people are just drifted to doing the wrong things. That's just it anyway. So enough of the talk. Let's wrap up the class for what we came here to do. So thank God. I think what is the I want to call yeah. So thank God that CJ is a computer science engineer. So I'm going to be a little bit fast with the presentation, but we will be able to capture all the nitty gritties before going through the next. So we are trying to set up our home lab, and we have our devices all ready to do that. So first of all, if you have stuffs like, for example, let's say, so CJ, tell me what devices do you have at home that you can connect to the internet? You have your phone. What else? Hello, are you there?
Phone. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, with you.
TV.
TV. Smart TV. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Um,
Um, Phone
I
too. You
think
have two phones.
tablet.
Tablet. Okay, tablets. Then you have your Wi-Fi or whatever it is you're using as hotspot. So you could
Yeah,
use
my
yeah,
my
my
dongle.
dongle. Hotspot or your Wi-Fi. So all these devices are connected to the internet. Now, this also connects through your internet service provider to give you access to the bigger World Wide Web. So this makes up your home lab. This is just a simple lab where you could do your testings. This setup is enough for you to do testing, brute forcing, penetration testing, scanning, mapping. This is enough because where is your computer? You didn't put your laptop. You forgot. Don't you have a laptop?
I forgot.
I forgot. Okay.
I have a
So I have a
laptop.
laptop. Yeah, laptop also connected to the internet. And with your laptop, you by extension, you get a VM or a virtual box. Then through the virtual box, you now get lots of VMs depending on the strength of your laptop. So you have VM1, which might be Kali Linux. You have VM2, which might run on Ubuntu. You have VM3, so it's VM2. VM3, which might run on maybe Windows 9 or Windows 10. So we are looking at how many devices here? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Then this holder here will be number 9. Each of these devices to be connected to the internet, it will be assigned an IP address. Okay. Each of the devices will be assigned an IP address, and even these two. Now, the hotspot or wherever you're getting your internet from is responsible for your IP address that you're connected to it. Meaning, if the hotspot has a parent IP address of 192.168.20.15. It means that the rest of the devices must inherit this part of the IP address. The first layer, the first octet, the second octet, and the third octet. So if that is the case, what will IP address number 1 be? CJ?
It will be 192.168.20, probably
Let's say
dot
let's say
20.
dot 1. Maybe let's use their tag numbers dot 1. So this one will be 192.168.20.1. This one will be dot 2, dot 3, dot 4. Most times they are not serially arranged like this. Most times they are shuffled. And also that shuffling effect is due to this DCHP or something. Yes, DHCP. So this is another stuff for another day. But it has to do with why it might be shuffling every day or every time you reset your system. So with this in mind, also the IP address you are using inside this local area network is different from the one you are using in the wide area network. This one has a more stronger parameter or identification. Why this one is concerned with you and inside here. We also talked about classes of IP address. If we have that 192.168.20.1, we said that we were looking at a /24, meaning we are operating under a class C. How did we get there? Under IP addresses or IP classes, we have something called subnetting, subnet mask, subnet mask, subnet mask. Subnet mask is simply sub-networks, networks that have been divided into subunits. So, and subnet mask appears in this form where you get 255.255.255.255. Now, when the classes of the IP address are being put into place, we have class A having the first octave. We have 255.0.0.0. Class B, we have two more, the network section. Is it the network section or the host section? So computer science engineer, tell us, what is this side and this side? Which one of them is the network section and which one of them is the host section? This is divided into two sections.
Sorry, I didn't get what you said.
Okay, I want to boggle you via your degree. So which of these parts is the network section and which one of them is the host section? When
Are
we
you
say host,
referring to the class A? Are you referring to the class
A,
A
yes,
subnet?
yes. Which of them, which of the parts is network and which of the parts is allowed for the host to use?
I think the network section it's the 255.
Good. So the network takes up this side and leaves the host for this side. And the reason why we have more here is because is class A IP addresses are used by bigger organizations that have much things to connect over their network. So class B, it gets smaller. We have 255.255, then .0.0 gives us class B. So on class C, it gets smaller to 255.255.255.0. So every home lab or home network or local area network is automatically placed on class C. Even at that, this octave alone, the number of devices that can enter here, I doubt if one person has that capacity to max it out. So then below it, we have class D, which normally most times are reserved. Even class E also reserved most times too for either government purposes or companies that have much stronger powers. One, two, two, two. So when you see a network configuration of devices, after seeing their IP version 6 with IP version 4, we say that this is version 4, IP version 4. Most times also they will include their version 6. Version 6 is longer. You will see letters and alphabets and numbers. We are going to see it below. So apart from having their IP version 4 and 6 or 6, you can also use their subnet mask, which will be available to know which class that network is. So randomly, if you look at the IP address, you might not know which class is operating on. But when you see the IP, the subnet mask, and oh, you say, okay, this is a class B network. Okay, or you say, oh, this is a class A or class C network. Okay, and that will also help in a long run when you start meeting or looking out for IOCs, indicators of compromise. Maybe when you are sorting out what has happened on the network, you'll find an IP address and you want to look at this IP address. Where is it coming out from? What kind of network or class is it? Is this just someone trying to attack me or an organization? So you look at all those kind of things will be important ahead. And that is why I said try to read up a bit about it. So we've talked about we said that all these devices will have their own IP address, and not just their IP address, they will also have their subnet mask, which will help you to determine which of the classes they belong to. Okay, so before we go into the practical lab setup, is there any question? Any question? I hope you guys have not slept off.
No, no, no,
No,
no,
no,
no.
no, not at all.
I'm just looking at the devices. So,
Okay.
going by this diagram,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to think like someone that is trying to hack into the system. So, what do you think it's the weakest link? Because most times I feel people that are hacking to make their job easier, they have to look for the weakest link.
Actually, what
So,
they look for is
going by your illustration now,
yes.
and with the device that is giving out the IP, I think the TV is the most porous link here. If there's no firewall.
Okay. Okay.
So my question would be, how can you protect um
This network.
because there's no way you can leave them in isolation. So how can you protect those porous devices or those devices that you don't have total control over?
Okay. First things first, just like you mentioned, if you feel like you're gonna be or you're a target, your devices are target of attack, simply do the first aid remediation tools, get your antivirus or get your firewalls and put them in the right places. For example, between you and your internet service provider, you could put a firewall. Between um, your router, you could also put in some rules so that it can limit, activate, or even respond to threats, the at least basic threats immediately. So there are, when you look at your Wi-Fi or router, like I have one that I got today, and if you look at the configuration, let me check. I hope I didn't close it up. Okay, the Airtel 5G. So uh, did they log me off? And also ensure that you don't leave your default settings on. See, I just got this today, and the default setting, as you can see, is admin, and it's the same for most companies or most. So people, when they do, they tend to forget to change these stuffs, and it's very simple. Go into your dashboard, do the preliminary work, go to your internet device settings, you will change some of stuffs. You see that DHCP server I told you. So most times it will scramble the IP addresses. And I do advise some of our students to create a table for all your devices. Yeah, all these devices that are here, create a table, a simple table. You could use a Excel sheet, or I would advise you to use a book. Create a table so that it will be more practical for you. You create a table, you put um, at your first scanning, which we are going to do now, you enlist all the IP addresses you scanned. You list all of them out. Then on these other columns will be devices, devices, devices on every day. So you do scan on day one, and on this IP address, your smartphone or your router is here, your TV is here, your first phone is here, and your laptop is here. And you come to day two, maybe your TV is off, you do your scanning. You might notice that the address for your TV has been given to the first route, the first device or another device. So you do this every day. One, it helps you to get in tune with your network because you're going to be doing more scanning, and also it helps you to know when there are devices that you did not authorize that joined your network. So I would advise you also to do the same. Get a book, draw out the table. After today's class, which we are going to do the first scanning, um, map out all the IP addresses you found on your network so that you can be matching them daily when you do your test. So, like I said, um, do the simple stuff. When you come to firewall, you see there is a firewall. You could DMZ means demilitarized zone. So you could, get your demilitarized zone on, port forwarding, filtering rules. You can decide which IPs or which addresses are going to be filtered out, or even set what's it called, addresses that can be filtered. For example, if we go for filtering rules and we want to add port filtering, we can say, okay, add rule. We want to filter ports for this or protocols for this. Example, this remarks, use it and save it. So I might say I want to filter ports for IP version 4, protocol TCP, then port 22. I don't want port 22 to. Have we talked about the port numbers? That should be the next class where we'll talk about ports. CJ, sorry, Ade, that's what we're supposed to treat next, right? Ports,
Yes,
right?
boss.
Yes, boss. Yeah. So by next week
Port.
on Saturday, we'll be talking about ports so that you know the different ports, why they are a source of attack for, why they are appetizing to be attacked by the threat hunters or threat attackers. So these are the places. For example, this 443 here is for HTML secured um, web traffic. 443 is secured. Meanwhile, 80 is not secured. So you could say, I want to block all the websites that are using unsecured port numbers or sites. So when you access them, it will not open because it will not work. If somebody is using them to come into your network, it will not open. So these are some of the stuffs that have. There is a lot. DDoS, this is a distributed denial of service protection. So in that your router, when you open your own router, there are still stuffs that can be done. A lot of practicals you can still do with your router. So please get your hands busy. If you don't know what to do, if you're looking for tasks to do, engage ChatGPT. I told you guys to engage ChatGPT early so that it can flow with you as we're entering the practical section now. It will not be alien to what you're doing. It will already have an idea of, okay, you are in a boot camp and it will be expecting practicals like this so that it can give you insightful help, not just random help that is not relating to what you're doing. So where were we? I think we're talking about this. So let's go in. You to answer some of your questions. You are asked also how do we protect. So you do the basic protecting. Go to your router wherever your internet is. Enable the firewall. Do some of those setups. Then if you also have antivirus, you do those because those are some of the things that we alert you. For example, a couple of days ago, I noticed a breach in my account and it spread through some of my accounts. So for the past 2 days, I've been doing password change, password change, password change. The ones that have been breached, I had to recover them back. Both my social media passwords, my Gmails. I have like 12 Gmails that are functioning for me. I'm using them for different stuff. Most times for the company, most times for myself. So I had to put an eyes on. Once I get my phone, I can't afford to be offline. In fact, I was caught off guard. The only time this attack happened was that 2, 3 hours. It wasn't up to 2 hours. Just 2 hours I left my phone at home. I went to my wife's shop. By the time I came in, my wife was already showing me why is my Facebook name changed to another name. I said, hey. By the time I came back home and I saw multiple OTPs have been sent into my phone, change of name, what's it called? So within that hour, I started doing recovery. And once, as a cybersecurity person, you have to be very smart to think fast. Where is the best control to switch this thing off? Where I got an email stuff from my web server, and I went straight to the web server and changed the password. The Gmail, I went straight to the Gmail root password and changed. So you have to be very smart in this game. I think our first link is expiring, so let me get a second link so we could join immediately. Okay, guys.
Okay. That's not hard to
That's not hard to
reach out to the
reach out
MD to
to the
confirm
MD to
if they
confirm
actually
if
give that
they actually
instruction.
give that instruction.
Because the email they
Because the
used in
email they
sending
used in sending
the mail they used in
the email
sending
they used in
the
sending
email
the email
was
was
was a Gmail
was a Gmail
account as we
Gmail account
suppose
as a supposed
the
the company
office
account.
domain, but
Office domain, but
they entered his name
they
in
entered
full,
his name in full.
and
Dot.
it
And
now ended
he now ended
with dot
with
exactly.
dot
It now
exactly.
ended
He
with
now
Gmail.
ended with Gmail.
So just imagine if
So
the
if,
person
if you
wasn't
didn't
smart
look,
enough.
yes, if you didn't look at the end to know that it is a Gmail, you just see your boss's name. Okay, you think it is his name. It is his email, direct office email.
Exactly. So why I'm asking is because why I did it or make use of what's it called, Microsoft Office 365. So I had to go and block that particular
Email.
email account. But is there a way one can detect issues like this before? But I feel there's no way. I'm just saying.
Um, you will
Is
just
there
have
any
to be
particular
an
way,
individual.
or
You
you
have
just
to,
have to
yes,
be
or
at
you just
alert?
have to be at alert. One, that is number one. You have to be at alert, number one. Then also on the email, you can filter some emails. You can, there are some emails that you can respond to. There are some email servers that you cannot respond back to them. So there are some setups that happens in the emails where you could say this kind of email cannot or should not be able to send a message to this type of email. For example, you could say a Gmail should not be able to send a message to a company account, but also you might be cutting off some legit customers. You understand? So most of
Exactly,
these rules,
that's why I want to say, because I've also had that experience too. Okay, something like that happened. Someone raised an alert, and I blocked the email. But later on, they now figured out there is a particular vendor that is trying to communicate. So issues like that. That's why I said there's no hard and fast rule in
yes,
trying to figure out. Well, I don't know. Maybe there are advanced technology, but there are ways you can probably see way beyond what I'm seeing at the moment. But I feel it's kind of difficult because um
the best action or the best cybersecurity personnel, the best cybersecurity action or stance to be taken is the one that was taken right at the moment when it is happening. Because had it been you that is a junior didn't take the action you took, of course you know what would have happened. So it doesn't matter if there is someone with the skill of 500 years. If the person doesn't anticipate, or didn't see it happening, and it happens, then there's a problem. So it's a call on alertness also. Part of the things I also did for my account was I had to go straight to, because I have a two ways setup. My account is set up in another system too, which is dormant. Also set up in my wife's, then set up in the ones I'm working with, apart from the phone. So and all of them are being, checkmated once in a while. I know where this is. So if I see a login from Poland, definitely it's not from any of my devices. You understand? So once I got a login and I checked the IP address, it said Poland. I know there's a problem. Remember the threat intelligence platform we talked about. If you have details of IOCs or compromise, you could pick the little stuff, go check out, know, at least get a little information. That little information you have about this person or this thing will help you a lot in whatever you're doing. So I went straight to Google account setup, went to security and updated the password, ensured that my two-factor authentication was still on, changed the password because I use a Google Drive, and I also had to look at the devices that I've allowed in, reviewed the devices. That was when I even found out that I think there's a mobile phone I had previously that was lost, that was still carrying in my stuff. So I have to deactivate that one too. And so knowing how to do these first aid activities helps a lot. It helps a lot. When something happens, you know where to hunt it from. You knew exactly where or how to use your Google 360 to block that person. What if someone that doesn't know? So the person has to change the tactics and maybe use another person's own, or use another person's own, or use another person's own. So now, what is left for you to do is lesson learned. You have to ensure to pass that lesson to every one of the staff, letting them know of an impending attack because it's not yet over. Bro, it's not yet over. The person can actually go and fabricate emails that looks almost like the company email. Maybe where there is an O, he will use a zero and he will pass through. uh, so lesson learned is one of the most important parts of a cybersecurity program or incident. After the incident has happened and you've done your remediation, then you pass that message across so that other people will learn from it and don't and stay at an alert. Then you wait for the next one to come through. Okay, let's hurry up. So we've talked about devices. Remember, this is your local area network. This is your home lab, whatever it is you're doing here. Meanwhile, the person next to your door might still have a setup like this, and sometimes people might be using close to the same IP addressing due to the fact that if this person is using the same router as you are using, and maybe his router is .20, you guys might still run into the same kind of IP addressing, but so far as it's not in your network, it's not in your network. So let's move over to the slide and see what we have over there. So this is my SpectraNet. This is my old one. Like I said, I got a new one today, the Airtel. So, and the Airtel, I think it also followed the same pattern, 192.168. Okay, that one was the Airtel is .1 something else. Okay, now this is the Wi-Fi, the router SpectraNet that we're using, and if you look very carefully inside there, you will see the does it have the IP? Yes, it has the IP address. Can you see the IP address? If you can see it, it should be on the third line. What is it?
192.168.8.
Good. So to prove the fact, to prove the points that we made that it is the router that issues out or is in charge of issuing out the IP address of the devices that are connected to it. By the right hand side is one of my phones, which was connected to the router. And if you check very well, let's get down to the one below. If you check very well, you will see the address of the phone. This is my phone. As you can see, it's a screenshot I took. And some phones can give you detailed information of your connections. Status, connected, technology, Wi-Fi for connection speed, signal excellent. Um, ah, this connection speed, I feel like is one of the biggest scams of our network. 72 megabytes per second. Yeah, yeah. When you start downloading that, even to get 500, what's it called? It's not 500 MB. To get, um, let me say, one straight or 3 or 10 megabytes per second when you want to download or stream it, it's always an issue. And that was what made me to go for a 5G. And so far, it has not broken down since our meeting. So it might be answering up to his name, but I'll find out that later. So if you look at here, you will see the IP address on the phone. Can you correlate it? Can you match it with the IP address on the router? Is there any similarities? Can you see any similarities between the IP address on the phone and that of the router?
Yeah, they're on the same
Yeah, they are
network.
on the same network. Good. You see, you use the right word. They are on the same network. Okay. Now, apart from being on the same network, what's their distinguishing features? What distinguishes this from this?
The router is
The
dot one
router is
while
dot one while
the other device
the
is
other device is
101.
101. Okay, good. Now, when you look also closely, you see the subnet mask. So with this subnet mask now, you can actually know which class this network is. So from our diagram, our skeletal diagram before, what class is this network in? We have a 255.255.255.0.
That's class C network.
Yes, class C network. It's here, class C, 255.255.255.0. That's a class C network. And also, like I said, some phones can give detailed information of everything. So the router, it also pointed out the router's IP address, which matches the ones we have. So going down, when you have all these things connected, like I said, do a table and ensure that you checkmate your devices almost on a daily ahead of work. So we are going to be doing our first set of scanning. What we are going to do is to scan the network and know how many devices are connected to the network. Okay, let me check. My phone is not connected to the Wi-Fi, to the Airtel. So I would like to connect it to the Airtel so that we could get more devices there. But the devices already that are already on the network, on the Airtel network Wi-Fi is my home system, that's my primary system, the VM box that I'm going to open up, the Kali Linux, that is two. Then my phone that I want to connect, making it three. Then plus the device itself, making it four. So you see, I have 6 machines here. Ubuntu, PFSense, random text, this, that, and all of them are for different tasks. So for this our class, I'm going to be using the first one. Okay, I'm successfully connected to the phone. So I'm expecting to get the VM1, the Windows machine 2, my phone 3, and the router is 4. I also have a small mini webcam that I got from Jumia. I sincerely don't even know how to connect this, but I'll find a way. I hope it's not part of Temu's product, where because it's telling me it can only connect to 2G. Come on, who uses 2G in this our time now? Ah, this is an annoying webcam. It's telling me that the setup can only go for a 2G network. So my brothers, help me ask, where do I find a 2G network today or in this world now? Guys, please, when you are starting your Kali Linux and you come across a screen like this, just save yourself the stress, close it, shut down, power off, then restart again. Okay, just restart the machine again. Everyone is telling me to connect to 2G. 2G should be on Java phones. All those are old phones now. Guys,
Hmm? Sorry.
2G is it not what we used in Java phones, the olden days
Yeah,
all
those
those things?
Java phones are 2G.
Yeah,
Yes, now.
those.
Those Java phone and Symbian phones.
Yes.
Alright.
So where am I going to get 2G now? Because the webcam I bought from Jumia says it can only connect to 2G. Is there any way to step down a network to 2G?
I don't think so, but you should be able to still work with the advanced network.
It doesn't. It's actually marked 5G bad. Unless I might get a lower Android phone that connects with 2 stroke 3 stroke 4G. I might just have to look for that so that I'll see. I don't buy them, I don't buy them. Be 8,000
I
naira
know, I know you can upgrade it.
upgrade. I don't even know. I don't know. I might check on that too. This is another option if it's upgradable. So, guys, is an interesting thing that we are here and we are doing this. Please do not take it for granted. I was telling the guys in the first class time that we I'm taking a class of fellows who are in the advanced program. Okay, but they jumped the basics, so they are having issues, and they paid huge amount of money for their training, close to $1,200. Yeah, that's the amount. Now they are having challenge with the training, so they have to come back for beginners program. So don't joke with this level where we are in. And also be more wicked in your passwords. Make it longer, make it skillfully, craft it, craft your passwords very well. So the Kali is up, and watch where I'm going to. I'll go to the top, and when I hover on the terminal, I'm going to be using the root terminal so that I wouldn't be using sudo. I'll use the root terminal. So for CJ, if you see, the Kali has some tools that we will be using, or you will be using along in the industry. So you see there are a lot of tools here for information gathering, vulnerability analysis, web application analysis, database assessment, password attack, wireless attack, reverse engineering, exploitation tools, sniffing and spoofing tools, post exploitation, forensics, reporting tools, social engineering tools, Kali offset tools. So there's a reason why Kali Linux is Kali Linux. I hope that sinks. So get your VM, uh, find where you get your 4 gig and download your Kali Linux.
Funny enough, I've
Funny
downloaded
enough,
it,
I've
but I'm
downloaded
yet
it, so I'm yet
to
Install it.
install.
Okay.
to install.
Mm.
Okay. It will take you a bit of a time, probably a few hours, depending on the speed of your system also. So here we are, we have the terminal. Okay. What we're going to do now, we're going to check the devices connected to the network, cross check it to know that they are accurate. Then by the time we do that, then we'll wrap it up for the day ahead of the port class where we're going to be teaching about ports. We'll also do some scanning, also port scanning. We'll see if we can scan a website or a remote database to scan it also to see, and also look at the juicy points or juicy stuffs about ports, why it is so important to threat actors. Then after that class, uh, we are already prepped and ready for our SQL injection practice, which is our capstone project. So with the way I'm looking at it, this is supposed to be week 5, right, guys?
No, no, I think this is
Week 4.
week 4.
Are you serious?
Week 4. So
Okay,
start today will
then.
be week 5.
Okay. That I'm counting ahead. So by week 5, let's say this next coming Saturday, which is week 5, you're doing ports. Week 6, you're doing you start your what's it called, your penetration testing class. You're going to do it till the next week. Then after then, so far as you're already in the program, we might have another class to elaborate small about bug bounty hunting, and also the platforms that you will or you should be exposed to after this class. If you guys, if your batch calls for it, okay, uh, then by the time you submit your own copies of the capstone project, you'll be issued your certificate of completion. Then some of us who will be ready for the ISC2 exam, you also request for extra materials that are needed for the exam. Okay, so that would be so 10. I need to go take my wife, bring back my wife from office, from our workplace by 10 o'clock. Let's see how far we could go. But that's okay. So here we are. We're going to be running our first scanning. And I think I shared the Nmap sheet with, have I shared it? I shared it to some people. I don't know whether I shared it. CJ, did I share it with you? Did I share it with you guys?
Nmap sheet?
Yes, cheat sheets.
No.
Okay. If not, then it's already on your platform because every batch, every folder comes pre-installed with it. I attach it there. So our first test would be um, configuration test to know the configuration of your system. Of course, you already know you're already using Windows. So what's Windows um, oh, IP what or IP config? You're familiar with IP config, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so but in Kali it is IF config. You are aware of that previously before, right?
No, I'm just getting to
Okay.
know it.
Okay, so we'll do the Windows on first, then checkmate it with. No, let's run the Kali on so that we could use the Windows on to check whether the Kali was able to find the devices that are on the network. So run IF
But
config.
did you install PowerShell? I can see PowerShell
Yes,
is displayed on the system.
yes. I installed it. In fact, I use it most times than just the Windows command line.
Okay.
So IF config, enter. We have a bunch of informations out here. First off, we see the internet, the IP address. We get 192.168.1.130. Remember, I don't know whether I made mention. The Airtel router is 192.168.1 dot something. I can't remember. But we are going to find it out when we do the network scanning. So for this particular machine is dot 130. Then you could see the net mask, right? I trust the net mask corresponds with the class class C. Then also
Yes.
you see the broadcast. You get the broadcast.
Uh, but but let me get something right. This IF config. You are
Yes,
doing it directly on the network.
I'm doing it on the Kali and on the network. This
You are
message goes straight
you are,
and
you are doing you are using the Kali on the network.
yes, I'm connected to the internet. My Kali machine is connected to the network that my system is connected to. But the system and the VM machine, they don't have the same, what's it called, address. So they are separate.
Okay.
Just a minute. Okay, so what other information do we find here? We could see the ICs, IPv6. You could see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is also on the phone. I think, like I said, some phones have a way of giving detailed information.
So,
Phone
so
also,
I,
my
I
phone
think my
also.
question is what are we trying to achieve with the Kali?
Okay, first of all, we are going
Mm-hmm.
to scan the entire network with the scanner.
Okay.
Okay, so by scanning the entire network, we find all the devices that are connected to this network through the Kali. So the Kali will pick up my phone that is connected. It will pick up my system that is. It will pick up any other device that is connected to this Airtel router, even if I don't know about them. And that is why we are talking about scanning your home lab, your home network, so that you will be
But,
able
but,
to
but
go
what,
ahead.
what if you use it? There is a device called IP advanced scan.
Okay. You see,
So,
once you know how these stuffs happen locally or manually, even when your tech
mhm.
devices fail you already know what to do. You see, there are some. I think I watched some movie where that it was a very funny movie. They were in a very advanced jet, and along the line, the the signals and everything in the jet failed. Guess what? The captains, the pilots did. They were now open to what's it called? How do they call it? Ancient resources. So the only people that could solve that problem were people who could read terminals, designs, and maps in right there. So I'm showing you guys, I'm showing you how to pick these things up remotely from your workstation, even though you could get your IP scanner and plug it and check all those stuff smartly, etc. But it's still an added advantage. Just a minute, please. Okay, so yeah, I get that. So you've used the IP scanner before. Have you used it before?
Yes, I use it mostly. So
You
what
use
it
it.
does it,
Okay.
what it does it scans practically every single device on your network,
Okay.
and
So okay, go ahead.
it will populate the MAC address and the IP address of the device.
Okay.
So at times it
So
even breaks the name of the device.
mhm, I want you to do a screen record video about this. Maybe it might not get up to how long it's gonna take. Just do it and share with the group in the class. Okay, so that others too who might not be exposed to this will be able to do that. So I need you to do that. And when you know some of these stuff and you don't put it out there, so how does the next um, HR or how does the next big company know that you got practical steps? And besides, you're coming from a computer engineering background, so there's a lot that we are hoping that people of your background could give back to the community. So I'm adding it to your classwork. You're going to submit it to me. Show me how it is. Do it on your home network, not do it on your company network.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not nice scanning the company network outside the company work. Uh, so we have the IF, what's it called? The version 6. Then also, let's now do the network scanning. And we'll do that with Nmap, Nmap code. So we will run nmap dash s, then the IP address of our router or we could use this one that we are into, then with a slash 24 to get us what we're looking for. So let's give it a try. 192.168.1.130/24. We've made a mistake. Using general options. There is a mistake. Yes. I think this was supposed to be for host network. SN. What's the address again? 130, 168 dot 1.130/24. Okay. So the Nmap cheat sheet, we're going to analyze a lot of codes, a lot of scanning codes that you could try out from your network and also in your what's it called, home lab. So this simple scanning got us sorry, got us some devices on. First, it got this 168.1.1. I don't know which device has this. It might be the router. So you see the MAC address also listed. Name unknown. They couldn't bring out the name. Then it also brought out report for Game Cipher Plus. This one got the name out. For 192.168.129. This one pointed for 129 with this MAC address. So let us check the Windows and see which of them is for the Windows. So what is Windows configuration stuff? IP, right?
IP config.
Config. Enter. Windows IP configuration. Okay. Okay. There was a time I had a switch where my home system, the primary was reading a different address from the Kali. It took me time before I tried it. So it has, I think that's the one that is the 129.
Okay.
Where did we find the 129? Okay, that's it here. That's the Game Cipher Plus. So possibly my phone might be having the other ones. I could simply go to the phone and check. So this is what I would expect you
The
to
phone is
do.
showing you now. I can see Redmi. I can see Redmi. Redmi 10.
Where is it? Okay, fantastic. I didn't
That
even
is
see it. 180.
183.
Let me check it on the phone itself. I'm seeing it. Yes, confirm. 183. Then the MAC address 172 last. See what we have here? 6172 FEB. The MAC
Okay.
address is a bit scrambled but has the same details. Okay. So this is a simple network scanning that is done. With this type of technique, there's a lot you could scan. So when you go through the Nmap cheat sheet, you will have much idea of what is obtainable, what can be done so far as scanning is concerned. And just wait till we get into the port section where you could scan the entire ports of a single device or a system. So meanwhile, do you know, was it in this class or the last class that we talked about how many ports that is available in a system? Was it with you?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Sorry,
I
I didn't
lost
get
you a
that.
bit.
I lost you.
Okay, I'm asking. Was it with you that we talked about how many ports that are available in a network device?
Yes, we'll discuss.
Yes, this.
Okay. So have you been able to get any further clarification on that? Because in the exam, I think the answer still remains 65356. But we will, when we are scanning next week by this coming Saturday, you will actually see it by yourself. So you will see what is to be scanned. You will see you can scan for 1,000, you can actually scan for uh, the entire 65 something. Mm.
Okay.
So I think we've come to the end of today's class. Your second assignment includes this particular page I am in. You do a screenshot of your configuration, then your entire network home lab scan. Then you're gonna attach also a screenshot of your normal Windows, um, maybe your command line part to
Device.
correlate with, yes, to correlate the correctness of what you scan. Then you also do a screenshot of your phone if you can see the stuff to correlate it, and that will make up your second classwork. The
But,
first one was for you to do the.
but
You said? I didn't hear you. What did you say?
I I
I
was thinking
I
that
was thinking that
um
um,
since you are using
since you
Kali,
are using Kali,
is there a way
Yes.
you can
is there a
use
way
it
you
to
can use
scan
it to
an
scan
external
an
network, not
external network,
not your immediate
not your
network?
immediate network?
I can scan my website. I can scan your website. I can scan anything. You can scan, and
But,
by scanning,
the way you explain it
The way
now,
you explain it now,
it has to be on a
it has to
particular
be on a
network for it to
particular
be able to
network for it
scan.
to be able to scan.
no. What we are focusing on for this class, we focus on our home lab. We're focusing on our home lab. If you want to scan outside your lab, you can actually do that, but that's not still the same.
Yes.
They're using will not be the same because now you are not dealing with the outside world. So they are not going to be seeing you as your home lab IP
Exactly. That was what I
address.
was
That
thinking.
was what I was thinking.
Eh. So then you are not talking World
Because if
Wide
it's
Web
to
and
Because
scan
if
your
to scan
home lab,
your home lab,
I think
I
it's
think
good.
it's
But
good.
it's good. At least I
But
know
it's
that
good. At
okay,
least
there
I
are
know
other
that
ways.
okay, the other way.
yes. So please also look out for that Nmap cheat scheme. And the next class on the ports I think from this question we will actually scan a website that I have control over. It's not proper to scan. Even ordinary scanning a website, someone else's website, can land someone into trouble because just by scanning, there is a lot of information you will get from that network by scanning a simple scan. So always do that in an authorized environment or where you have access to. I have access to some of my websites, which we might be using for a test room on that. So we'll scan it to check for liveliness. We'll also scan it to check which ports are live. We also scan it to know which ports are weak points that can be accessed. Then we also look at the ports. Why are they important and why do people go after them? and that will be what we'll be doing next week. Don't forget to submit in your classrooms. Nice. So
All right.
the video
Thank
tomorrow
you.
afternoon, the video tomorrow afternoon, the video tomorrow afternoon, the video will be out because I need to go get my wife, then eat my lunch. I'm going to eat my lunch now, then before going to rest. Good night, guys. Bye bye. Take good care.